Football has returned to us, graced us with his presence again tonight. NFL, college. Do I care that it's Bethune-Cookman versus Miami? No. Put it all over me.
Memphis Navy.
Memphis Navy.
That's a fun
Love
one.
it. Eagles, Vikings. Going to be breaking it all down. But, before we hop in there, apparently they're telling us aliens are real at 9:30 this morning. So we got to thinking, David. And Blaine had a great idea. If they're telling us that, what's really going on?
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Like, what are they covering up? And again, I think Blaine's right. I think Nick Saban did this.
You think so?
They lose to Texas at home. He loses to Sark in September, calls the government, listen, we need y'all to flip the script. Just tell them the aliens are real.
One guy can hit a button and the whole solar system panics.
Yeah.
Right? That's Nick Saban.
That's right.
That's funny. You would think like, impeachment inquiry? Maybe they're trying to distract.
No, it's got nothing to do with that.
Nick Saban losing in September.
Nothing to do with that.
I can't wait for when the aliens show up. It's just the Jets bus.
No, it's Georgia's defense from 2 years ago.
Jets bus.
Yeah.
The Jets bus.
Like N'Kobe Dean gets out first.
Corey Davis gets out. And it's
Yeah.
Like, we've been trying to tell y'all that for 2 years that those guys are aliens.
It's true.
Yeah, it's like, unless you have, I saw him in person. Like, there's no way he's from here.
So yeah, Nick Saban just made a call to Glorp 7. So yeah, we got to tell him now.
It's a Men in Black situation.
Yeah.
Man's got pipelines everywhere.
He really does. How do you think he got Will Anderson Jr.? The Eagles and Vikings face off tonight in Philly. The Braves clinched their 6th straight NL East title, and we're previewing the SEC opener for LSU and Mississippi State and taking a sneak peek at the rest of college football week 3. I'm Jake Crane, and welcome to Crane & Company. Now, very few things shock me anymore in college football, and really the game of football in general. But one of those things happened early in this college football season, and that was LSU's coaching staff apparently learning nothing from last season offensively, and in-game defensively looked clueless when it came to adjustments versus Florida State in Week 1. How in the hell do you enter Game 1 in 2023 with the same quarterback, offensive line, and offensive coordinator, coming off a season in last year where your fortunes changed after you started attacking the deep third of the field in the passing game halfway through the season? And then you totally revert back to not pushing the ball down the field to start the next year. LSU has too good of an experienced coaching staff to put together that game plan offensively and then at least not adjust mid-game once they realized they screwed up. And I'm not saying it had to be Bombs Over Baghdad or Top Gun 3. You don't even have to connect on most of them. But Florida State had absolutely no fear of LSU's deep passing game, and it helped shut them down. And to be honest, FSU's defensive coaching staff was probably as shocked as I was while they were watching it. And if Jaden Daniels is too scared to push it downfield after having a full year of experience and realizing that was half their mistake, then put in someone else who will. Now, on the defensive side, the adjustments were just non-existent. Having Harold Perkins as a spy on Jordan Travis wasn't a bad game plan going in, make no mistake, because Jordan Travis didn't really show the ability to scramble, keep his eyes downfield, and throw last year. He would just take off. But this is Jordan Travis 2.0, the upgrade. He now extends the play outside of the pocket with his eyes down the field. And by using a linebacker as a spy and playing umbrella coverage behind it, you take an intermediate coverage defender out of the play. And then you wonder why Johnny Wilson is running wide open like that chick on top of the mountain from Sound of Music. Now, after they realized that Harold Perkins was being wasted as a spy, they should have just let him play the position normally and blitzed him occasionally. But they didn't. Now, I can't take too much from the Grambling game, but the coaching staff and Jaden Daniels have a chance to redeem themselves this week on the road at Mississippi State. But if they go in there and they play short and conservative on offense and they don't utilize all thirds in the passing game, this is going to be a tough game for them to win. But I believe in Brian Kelly more than that. And LSU doesn't have to spy Will Rodgers unless he's working for the Russians. And no country boy's going out like that, I can promise you. I think LSU stuffs the run, And I think the Bengal Tigers turn it around starting this weekend, David.
Taking LSU, huh?
Taking LSU.
The Tigers.
They're back.
Tigers.
I love it.
Go Tigers. Look, and again, last year we saw them make. I could understand it last year because Jaden Daniels coming over from Arizona State, all everybody talked about was, oh, he puts the ball in harm's way. Oh, he throws the ball up for grabs too much. And it looked like he was a little bit nervous to push the ball down the field. But halfway through the year, when Brian Kelly got asked, oh, well, Jaden Daniels, he's thrown 8 touchdowns. He's got no interceptions. How great is that? Brian Kelly had a great answer. He said, yeah, that's nice. I don't want him to turn the ball over, but we're not getting a return on our investment. Because the first half of the year, it felt like LSU, every time they'd throw an intermediate route, 2 guys were hitting them. Every time they'd run the ball, 30 guys were in the box. And David, you learned from last year, as a player and as a coaching staff, how in the hell do you go out week 1 and make the same mistake?
Yeah, we were talking about that in our live stream. It was obviously surprising because I thought we got past that midway through last year. But what I was even more surprised with was LSU on defense when Florida State came out in the second half and said, you know what? We're just going to run the ball down your throat. We're just going to actually come out and beat you.
We're more man.
Like, that's what's surprising because Brian Kelly's the type of coach who goes into halftime and makes those sorts of adjustments. So we've talked about that. But I was mentioning this with our boy Blake Ruffino last night. We were talking about the LSU Mississippi State matchup. To me, this is a huge game for LSU because we haven't seen them play their best. Even against Grambling, we haven't seen LSU come out and say, you know what, we are the type of team that can live up to the expectations. I had them in the national championship. I think you had them playing in the national championship. And now you're going to open conference play on the road at Mississippi State. You don't just walk into Stark Vegas and think you're going to win a game. Mike Leach or no Mike Leach, rest in peace. Now, I'm interested to see how the conference opener looks for Mississippi State as well with this new offense. How many pass attempts did Will Rodgers have the other day? 17 pass attempts. That's a completely different style of offense than we've seen from them. But at the end of the day, we're talking about a kid in Will Rodgers who could be the all-time SEC passing yards leader at the end of this season. So I still expect them to have a good year. And what I'm looking for is LSU going to go into this game on the road and say, you know what? Let's put the rest of the SEC West on notice because our loss is an out-of-conference loss, right? Let's go ahead and put the rest of the SEC West on notice that we're coming, and that last quarter and a half against FSU was an anomaly, and you're not going to see that the rest of the year. Or do they go in and they let Mississippi State hang around for 3.5 quarters, and it's anyone's ball game with 2 minutes left? Then you find yourself with 2 losses when you leave there.
Yeah, without a doubt. And Blaine, when I look at LSU, and I said this after the game, I don't think LSU fans should panic. I think LSU actually has the personnel to be able to turn it around. We saw them turn it around last year. There's a big difference when I watch South Carolina's offensive line and just their lack of ability. That's just the truth. It's hard to put that into somebody. And then I look at LSU and the players and personnel that they have. I think there's a lot more room for growth. And Mason Smith's back on defense. So there's a reason I called the Florida State LSU game the biggest insurance game of 2023. You could afford to lose that game, and if you look at what Florida State's probably going to do the rest of the year, if LSU's able to thread the needle, which is going to be tough now when you have to go to Bama, that's going to end up looking like a really good loss, and it's all the way back in week 1. So when you look at LSU, do you see them being able to make that adjustment and have that growth and kind of get hot like they did last year?
Yeah, you have to. From a personnel standpoint, LSU has one of the best rosters in the nation. And LSU does a great job of putting a border around their state. And if you can control your state, they just got freaks walking around there on a daily basis. But the crazy thing about LSU that surprised me the most was this looked like the exact LSU team we saw in the first year last year. Offense played okay. I'd say their offense played a little bit better in this game, but special teams was bad. Special teams was bad, and that's still a huge piece. Defense, they're going to be fine in the SEC. But Florida State, I think, doesn't get enough credit on how good they are up front on both sides of the ball. Florida State up front on both sides of the ball are good enough to win the national championship, in my opinion, right now. Mississippi State, LSU's won 4 out of the past 5 times they've played. LSU's got a good matchup against it. So LSU is going to stuff the front against Mississippi State, stop the run, and then it goes to Will Rodgers. This game's sitting at 9.5. I don't think LSU covers, but I think LSU looks a lot better. And this game's on the road. You can win this game and not look the best. You can look good. I think LSU's going to have to do what they did last year and get better from week in to week out. It's not a perfect situation. They're not a perfect football team. They're not who we thought they were from a discipline standpoint, from this being an organized standpoint. Sloppy football. Didn't look great against Grambling. Pretty sure they dropped 70. But, you are LSU, so it's not super tough. This game's going to be close now. I'm telling you. Yeah. It's not easy to walk in and win there. And Arnett's got these boys playing. Even if you went to overtime with Arizona, they have 5 takeaways on defense. Like they believe there. All right, and if they rock those striped uniforms too, those go hard. So it's going to be even harder to win.
The prison breaks.
I like those things.
No, they actually
pretty
do
fire.
too. I actually do too. I will say this. I think something we got to remember that LSU Florida State game. Yes, you're exactly right. Second half, FSU out physicaled them. They bowed up. They said we got more dog in us than you do. But don't forget, LSU got the ball inside the 10 twice, and FSU stuffed them like a DiGiorno cheese crusted pizza.
Yeah, they did. And another thing for LSU fans, though, that game was tied with 5 minutes left to go in the third. So, like we're really coming down hard on LSU for a quarter and a half of play, which, hey, sometimes that's all.
The expectation's that high, though.
And that's when the football game is most important. At the end, where we really find out. And yes, the expectation was that high, but the trajectory of both narratives now is, Florida State's obviously one of the best teams in the country, and LSU has moved, they're outside the top 15 just from one quarter of play. If I'm Brian Kelly and I'm LSU, I'm going in every single day saying, hey, we were in that football game. We have to go prove to the rest of the country that last quarter was an anomaly, and you're not going to see football like that from LSU for the rest of the season.
Well, they're dangerous now. Like you thought they were dangerous before the season started. Nothing's more dangerous than LSU and a bunch of kids who got embarrassed on national television in one of the first games of college football.
Yeah.
Like, they're pissed. All right, if you thought LSU was coming before the season started, like, I promise you, Brian Kelly can get in these guys' heads and start swimming around on a daily basis. And he can get these guys extremely upset on a daily basis. And the one thing that's scarier than LSU just as a regular team is a pissed off LSU. And I think you're going to see that.
Yeah, and we want to know what you think. We're taking live calls today, 1-855-236-3228. Tell us your pick. You pick an LSU. Do you think Mississippi State upsets them? Do you think they're going to cover? Speaking about cover, we're going to cover all of it. But football, we got a double dose tonight. NFL and college. It's in full swing. We got another week of epic games. And DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the NFL, has you covered like a warm blanket in the wintertime. And new customers can bet $5 and get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Nobody's missing out on the action, though, even if you're not a new customer, because every DraftKings customer can take advantage of 2 new offers every game day this September. I'm going to throw a little SGP same-game parlay on this Vikings.
Are you?
Eagles game. Yeah, I've got my Spidey sensors just off the chart. Some sneaky good games this weekend. There's no such thing as a subpar weekend in college football.
True.
We're going to make our picks. We got Cole Cubic as our guest picker for this Saturday. Excited to get Cole on here and drop that on Saturday morning. But make sure you understand, life's more fun when you're in on the action. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use our code BOOSTER, BOOSTER, and new customers can score $200 in bonus bets instantly when they bet just $5 on NFL football, only on DraftKings Sportsbook with our code BOOSTER, BOOSTER. The crown is yours. If you didn't notice, we got a brand new thumbnail, brand new picture, whatever you want to call it. I'm not a camera scientist, so we appreciate everybody that gave us compliments on those. And we want you to buy out our merch. We're going to put the link in the chat right now. Go grab something from Crane & Company. If we don't have your size, let them know, because we want to restock that thing with some cool new merch ideas that we have. Also, hit that subscribe button. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, make sure you leave a 5-star review. We'd really, really appreciate it. And if you're on YouTube, turn that notification bell on and hit that like button. If you're in the chat, why not hit the like button? You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to ask for it 35 times. Like I listen to some of these other shows that tell you every 2 minutes. But just hit the like button. Be a good person, right? Dog goes to the bathroom. Why don't you just take one of those little bags and pick it up, throw it away? Let's be adults here. They're telling us aliens are real in like 2.5 hours. Come on, we got to get it together. Blonye.
Yep. Let's go to Sean Pennison. Shawnee, what's up, brother? Hashtag Ask Crane & Co. Will we see the same improvement as we did last year with LSU?
Well, I mean, you would think. I just don't like that we're having to talk about making the same improvement. Like, why are we making the same mistake twice? Like I don't get that. It's one thing. It's one thing if you were taking your shots and you didn't complete any of them, right? It's another thing if I watch guys, running 9 routes and running posts and Jaden Daniels just wasn't throwing it. I mean, outside of a wheel on the first play of the game, and that's not really even a downfield pass when you go back and look at it, LSU couldn't run the ball in the interior. So let's run mesh. Let's just run slants, not taking anything over the top. I mean, Florida State safeties, they were just creeping It's creep. It's a TLC song over here.
That rail route they ran on the first play was that formation to the boundary. I thought they were going to eat them alive the whole game like that. It reminded me what
Never went back to it.
Reminded me what Oregon was doing against UCLA last year when they really were cooking them up, but they never really went back to it. And it wasn't just not taking shots downfield. I wasn't seeing the screen game get dialed up. Like it was a lot of that was surprising me. I mean, the answer to his question is obviously yes. They could turn it around and have a similar trajectory they had last year. But I don't see them running the rest of the. It's an interesting situation because I don't see them running the rest of the table right now with the SEC West when you have games at Alabama and the whole schedule they have. But that doesn't mean they couldn't still win the division. And if you win that division, you have a chance to win the conference, especially the way the S is looking. And the winner of the SEC is making the college football playoff. So again, this whole conversation about a team with 2 losses who lost an opener to a really good Florida State team starts to creep up. But before we get to any of that, you got to go on the business. There's no game other than at Mississippi State.
Yeah, Mississippi State's not afraid of LSU.
No,
they're not afraid
they'll beat you
of them
quick.
at all.
Yeah.
Let's go to room 40. I know what you're doing. As an LSU fan, Brian Kelly's overrated. Hasn't ever done anything to be labeled as elite.
Well, my question is this when we talk about overrated. If you look at the amount of games that Brian Kelly has won, and I understand why he left Notre Dame to go to LSU, I'm never going to blame a guy for wanting to go in what's been perennially the most dominant conference and have a chance. He saw what the Alabama players look like in that tunnel compared to the players he had at Notre Dame. And Brian Kelly isn't the greatest recruiter of all time. He needs to be at a place like that kind of recruits himself and surround himself with coaches that can recruit. But I just feel like if we're going to call him overrated, then 98% of coaches are overrated.
Yeah, what do you have to do?
Like,
to be,
what's the line like
to be elite? What's the line to be elite as a coach?
Like, do you have to win a national championship?
No way.
Like, because if that's the case,
no
then there's not many good coaches out there.
Like he's the winningest coach in Notre Dame.
Yeah, I mean,
like that's
tough.
Yeah,
it's not easy.
But
like look, do I think he's the best coach in college football? No.
Top
do
five?
I think he's the right? I'd have to really sit down and look at it right now. Probably fringe top 5 to me.
Top 5 right now or all time?
Right now.
Oh yeah, I was about to say
right now, not all time.
Like if you don't have a national championship, which he doesn't,
Then
it's hard to crack those like top 10 lists.
But I do think, and just like when he got the job, I think he's a great fit for LSU because LSU just lacked consistency. That they would be so up and down, so great and then it'd fall off a cliff, so great and then it'd fall off a cliff. And a place like that, Blaine said, yeah, they're able to build a border around the state. They're the only team in the state that matters.
Yeah.
I mean, Tulane, cool story, man. Cool story, right? But so was Hansel and Gretel, Little Red Riding Hood, and
that is crazy for Tulane to be that. That's how much talent's in that state.
Yeah, Louisiana's drenched with talent.
Yeah.
It just, again, I think Brian Kelly is the organizer that they need.
All right, let's go to Jordan Tooley with that $5 donation.
Rocking
Keeping
the
that
Tooley
on him.
Yeah.
Says, morning, boys. Best show in the business.
Yup.
You're damn right. Says, Boilermaker fan here. I'll be at the game. Who you guys picking this weekend? Purdue or Cuse?
I think Syracuse. Jimbo Eagle's going to be pissed about
That's literally the first thing I thought of.
Yeah. I think Syracuse is a little bit overrated.
You think so?
I think they're a little bit overrated when you look at who they've played. I do like they're playing with a little more pace this year. I like that Syracuse is going up tempo. I think that's why that over is a little bit inflated. Purdue, last week, Ryan Walters, I thought that was a great exhibition after what happened in the first week. This game is one that I'm definitely not betting. Hudson Card to me, and I know Ryan Walters has to bring some more talent in there. I trust Hudson Card, like I do trust him. In this game, though, I feel like it's going to be one where Syracuse is going to play fast. They're going to try and get the ball out quick. Purdue's going to try and slow it down a little bit. I will always say, I believe this game's at Purdue.
This game's at Purdue.
At Purdue. Give me the Boilermakers this weekend. Give me Hudson Card and them to control the game on the ground, right? Ryan Walters, you talk about one of the greatest defensive renaissances I've ever seen. What he did at Illinois, the way they flipped that when he got there was absolutely incredible. Now, I know that was Illinois and they have different players here at Purdue, but Ryan Walters gets better as the year goes on. At least he was as a DC. I assume his teams at Purdue will do that. Now they got a little confidence. And I think Syracuse, Jimbo, I'm sorry, But like I said, if I want to make everybody happy, I'd sell lollipops and cupcakes for a living. That's not what we do here. Give me the Boilermakers.
Well, I predicted Purdue to win this game preseason. And look, you start off Fresno State at home. They lost by 4, 39-35. And then you go on the road to West Virginia. So they've had a completely different open than Syracuse, who's opened with Colgate and Western Michigan.
Yeah, and
so
Western Michigan may be worse than Colgate.
And we really don't know with Syracuse.
So it's again, I like they're going up tempo. I not that I'm saying Syracuse is a bad football team. I just think Purdue is better, and Syracuse hasn't been tested yet. I've watched Purdue get tested, and they passed the test last week.
All right, Cole Freak, $2 donation. LeBron mid. MJ's a GOAT in NHL hockey in 10 days. Scream it from a mountain, Cole. I love it.
Yeah, everybody's excited.
Let's go to Dirk Shaw. What's up? He says, what happens is the top 5 right now all went out. Who you guys putting in the playoff?
If the top 5 all went out,
Mm-hmm.
all right, let's go through the top 5. Like the aliens came down and stole them. Are we saying that they lost? If the top 5 lost, take the top 5 out. That's what he's saying.
No, he's saying the top 5 went out.
Oh, win out. I thought you said went out.
Yeah, I thought you said went out too.
Went out.
Yeah, I was
top
like, went out where?
Top 5 went out.
Okay, read me the top 5.
From the AP or from ours?
Just go AP.
Go AP.
Yeah.
It's Georgia, Michigan, Florida State, Texas, USC.
Here's what I think happens.
One from each conference.
I mean, how do you not say that the top 4?
I know.
Right? That are right now, if they went out, what are you going to do? Bumps. You're the odd man out. And guess what? As an Auburn fan in 2004, I know what that feeling's like.
Yeah.
I know what that feels like, to be standing in the rain, looking through the window, just while everybody's inside all warm, eating a nice fried chicken dinner.
And how would that be like in the last year of the Pac-12 when they have such a great conference?
Caleb Williams.
And have a team that would go undefeated in this sense?
Here's the thing. Who would they bump out, though? It really makes me think that with Caleb Williams, if they go undefeated, he's obviously going to have a ton of Heisman hype. Won it last year. Be the first guy to win it twice since Archie. Who would they bump out? There's no way they bump Texas out.
Well, you're not bumping out Georgia. Back-to-back champions. You're not bumping out Michigan because that would come on the heels of beating the Buckeyes and winning the Big Ten.
They bumping Florida State.
There's big
that's
brands.
The only
they
candidate.
might just change the rules. And
They just changed the rules to
start
6.
putting more teams in. Yeah, just for this.
At that point, it would be like who had the ugliest conference win, maybe, or something.
Well, it's like what do you just Friday Night Lights it? Like the coaches meet at a gas station, like an undisclosed gas station, and flip a coin.
The good thing is that won't happen.
Yeah,
that scenario is not going to happen.
Let's go to Return to Glory 88.
Now it is that you said that.
Says big game. Brian strikes again. Says never trust Brian Kelly. Both him and Tommy want to come back.
Okay. So
he's also a Notre Dame fan.
Okay. So big game Brian. They say Brian Kelly's never won a big game. Beat Bama last year, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Right. Sometimes we have revisionist history. I'll tell you this though, Notre Dame. I got him going 11-1. Return to Glory. Got him going 11-1. Hashtag good start.
That game at Duke's getting more
It's
interesting.
getting a little wonky.
Duke's schedule. I'm saying Duke can throw a wrench in a lot.
Duke can be a problem.
Yeah.
It can be. Well, like I'm looking at that -19 against Northwestern.
Oh, it's already went up. I thought it was at -20 already.
No, it was a -18.5.
Yeah,
it was -18.5. Then it went up to -19. I'm like, all right, who's got COVID?
Look, yeah, I'm not saying Northwestern's bad, but they suck.
Yeah. It's the truth. It's the truth.
Man.
All right, I'll tell you what doesn't suck. Black Rifle coffee.
So delicious.
I drink it every morning, to be honest with you. It's the greatest coffee that there is. You got Power Llama over there. You got Gunship over there. They've got ready-to-drink cans for people with no time to brew coffee. I don't really know anybody that brews coffee anymore. But their coffee subscription gives you the chance to purchase limited edition flavors. All right, gives you nothing but the best. They got a Coffee of the Month Club. Gets you premium roast from the best farms worldwide, wide. September's premium roast, it's called Space Bear. Oh, congrats. You got away. The planet's on fire. Now you got to fight a bear in outer space.
Yeah.
You lose.
You want to talk about terrifying? Get to Mars and there's 3 polar bears that wait on you. Drinking Cokes with their kids.
So stop running out of coffee and sign up for a coffee club subscription to have Black Rifle coffee delivered straight to your door on your schedule. And to help us out and yourself, go to blackriflecoffee.com. Use the promo code BOOSTER, BOOSTER. at checkout for 10% off your order. I just keep thinking of 3 polar bears on Mars. For some reason, that's
Drinking
so funny.
Cokes with their nephews.
That's blackriflecoffee.com. Use promo code BOOSTER for 10% off. Black Rifle Coffee, America's coffee. Wake up! David, rapid fire.
Eagles, Vikings tonight, boys.
Yes! 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 Yes!
Are you going to cry about it?
No, I'm not.
You can cry about it real quick if you want.
Don't dictate my emotions.
Look, Eagles held on to beat the Patriots. Barely.
So close.
Dude, that game. I had the Eagles was the last leg of the parlay on the show bet that I had. And they got up like, they got by 2 scores.
It was 19 and nothing.
I was like,
Patriots looked awful. Held on to win, and then the Vikings.
look up.
The Vikings go down to Baker and the Bucks, man.
Well, like the worst part was the worst part was the Eagles got up 2 scores. I'm at the house by myself. Reed and her mom are like out antique shopping or whatever people do that aren't watching football on Saturday or Sundays.
That's what they do.
And then she comes back, and all of a sudden the Patriots score twice before halftime. Like, and I was just in my head, I was like, how do I kick my wife and my mother-in-law out of their own house? Like our house that we live together.
It's like, I just got a call about the greatest antique deal.
guys, Antiques Roadshow is
2 hours
literally right
away.
down the street.
It's 2 hours away.
I heard it's a beautiful drive.
You can't miss it. It's can't miss.
It's can't miss. Bring some
miss.
of your stuff too. Bring that trinket you thought was on the Titanic. No, when I look at this game, there's some injury news here too. I mean,
For the
Bradbury
Eagles.
for the Eagles.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to play. Nakobe Dean got hurt last week. But here's the question I keep asking myself, and I always think about it from a betting standpoint. But Thursday Night Football, wonky stuff happens. It always does. But primetime Kirk Cousins is going to go for a lot of yards, probably turn the ball over a couple times, right? But is the Vikings defense, who was awful last year, I know you played the Bucs, but they look better on defense. Was that just because you played the Bucs, or are they legitimately better on defense? So when I look at this game, I do like the Eagles, obviously, even with the injuries, and I believe the Vikings center is out. I think the Viking, which is a big deal when you go against, the Avengers that the Eagles have on that front seven on defense. So I like the Eagles to win tonight. You'll see in my bets, I'm not taking them straight up. I actually like the over tonight. I like the over at 49. I think the Eagles are going to be able to score a lot of points because I just don't trust the Vikings on defense. Real question is, was Kenneth Gainwell, is he really the true option, or were you just saving?
Well, he's out too.
Oh, Gainwell's out.
So 3 key Eagles players.
No
here.
way.
Kenneth Gainwell, running back, James Bradbury at corner, and safety Reed Blankenship have been ruled out for Thursday's home opener. Fletcher Cox has a rib injury. He's listed as questionable, and like you said, Nakobe Dean placed on injured reserve.
God, man, I wonder if the Eagles have depth. Oh, wait. They do.
In the secondary, though?
In the
secondary?
Yes.
Front 7, yes.
Yes. Look,
Okay,
I don't have to paint you a beautiful picture on who's going to win this game.
I'm not talking about
Sauron and the boys are about to go cover against Kirk Cousins tonight, and you could write it down. You could etch it in stone.
Is this
I'm putting 150 on Vikings.
Is this one of those
after
games,
that.
though,
Good.
where Kirk freaks out? Like, just has one of those nights where just everything makes, he's like Rain
I just don't
down
think
at
up
the
front
blackjack table?
the Vikings are going to be able to hold up on either side of the ball.
Yeah.
On either side of the ball.
Do you like the over at 49?
I love it.
Good.
I love it.
I like the over, yeah. I think the Vikings do score. I just don't think they score enough.
Well,
the
that's
weather,
why I took the Eagles to score over 27.
Weather's supposed to be nice up there.
Mm-hmm.
Home opener.
Come on. It is like what Kirk Cousins is going to show up. Like, that's the question.
Well, if it's a Kirk Cousins,
If
normally
it's his
shows up in prime
center out,
time,
like,
then
there's
I need Kirk to be
like,
wearing a
I'd
chain.
rather you tell me the slot receivers out, or when they're good skill guys are out, but their centers out. And you go up against the Eagles. That's the last team you want to see with your center out.
that poor backup center.
I bet there's coaches just walking in the offensive meeting room, just looking at center, and just walking out.
They're like, hey, Chad, come here. Bad news, you're starting. Oh, good, coach, I'm starting this week? Yeah.
And he's like, and that's
against
Jalen Carter.
Yeah, against the Eagles.
They pull up the tape, and it's just Godzilla versus King Kong.
That's exactly right.
Or Transformers 3.
This was the plot to Transformers 3, I think.
Yeah.
It was the Eagles' defensive line.
All right, I like the over as well. I like the Eagles to win, but Vikings to cover. Blaine's just got them covering over there. How many points would you spot the Vikings?
It's at 6.5 right now. Would you take it? Would you take the Eagles?
9.5.
9.5.
You take the Eagles minus 9.5?
Yeah.
All right,
Write it down.
Let's stay in the NFL. Aaron Rodgers says he will rise again.
Phoenix, rise from the ashes once again.
Says he's not done.
Good. I'm glad he's not. I don't want him to go out like that.
Mm-hmm.
Look, it's modern medicine. Put the science and the math together. In all seriousness, though, I really hope he does. I hope he gets another chance. I hate it for him.
Nothing. This hit me on a different level. I don't know if you saw what he said to Garrett Wilson.
What did he say?
He looked at Garrett Wilson. He was like, "Sorry, kid."
Oh,
Hold on. I was like, internally.
Dang, man.
That just hurt me.
He just looked at him and said, "Sorry,
Yeah,
kid."
he's like, "Sorry, kid." I was like, "Oh,
God.
because they're here.
Wow.
They're right here."
They got a handshake and everything.
I'm telling you,
Man, that's tough.
they're not. Aaron's not having to download Facebook or whatever to figure out who these guys are.
Well,
Hard Knocks.
Apparently, it's
Aaron, you got to come back. You got to come back with a vengeance.
Get that
You got
Achilles.
to.
Iron Achilles.
You got to.
Can we not just put springs?
I don't
You know what I'm saying? Like just put like iron springs, like you get on like those BMX bikes.
Robot
like,
League?
Huh? Slowly.
I'm
Slowly.
telling you, that's where it's
Slowly.
going.
Well,
Where
those
it's
things
going.
walking around the sidelines of the Chargers game.
All right, Major League Baseball boys. The Atlanta Braves clinched the NL East for the 6th straight year, and I have a song for it.
Isn't it delicious? Isn't it just great?
I don't know how you sit here and allow this. That's what I don't know. Like, it's
Look,
like, come
I
on,
need to go
dude.
get all my old school Chipper Jones
Come on,
jerseys
dude.
in here.
That makes it worse.
Nah, don't make it worse.
That makes it worse.
Stop.
actually, David, now that I think about it, you did.
Don't
say
let him.
great.
The suits are messed
No,
up.
no.
I'll get
now
to
that-
my. I'll get
like
to my.
now.
YouTube
Now
in
I'm
a
just
second.
kind of.
I'm just saying. It's just
No,
not a
first I
great
was kind of
look.
just over it, but now I'm like angry about it again. It's like I saw that girl that you were cheating on me with. Like
Jake keeps seeing her in the supermarket.
Yeah,
he's
like
a
she's always walking around next to the
Yankees
mangoes.
fan. You just let that sink.
Well,
in.
he's
A
like that's been
Yankee
sinking
fan.
in for almost 30 years.
Thank you for telling me what team I cheer for, and not the one I wake up one day.
So
wasn't telling you, I was
listen,
telling him.
listen,
Oh, okay.
listen. We're having. I
Yeah.
talked to a couple of Braves fans. We sent out the newsletter. We're having discussions on whether we may need to just send in an essay, like a 300-word
Oh,
essay
me?
on why.
Did you tell them that you don't tell me what to do ever? Did you tell them that I don't write essays?
I told them
because I'm
that.
not
I told
in
them that, and they were
grade
like,
school
"Well, he
anymore?
still
Did you
needs
tell
to write
them
an
that I
essay."
played the chop song on the sound deck?
I told them that, and they didn't listen. No, but in all seriousness, I'm to the point now where growing up, the Braves have won the division so many times that I'm almost like numb to it. Like it's almost hard for me. I'm like, all right, good, when the playoffs start.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
They're
let's
nice.
like we, and it's a great problem to have.
It is.
Like it's
I
a
wouldn't call it
high class problem for sure. But at the end of the day, starting rotation, how are we going to
A
handle it?
lot of questions.
How are we going to handle it? I want World Series now. Okay, I tasted one a couple years ago. It was delicious. I love it.
You sip
Shout
it from
out.
the cup.
Sip it from the cup.
So now you want another.
That's exactly. I don't want anything else. Right? I don't want anything else. I want Hall cans again.
Look, the Braves are really good.
Mm-hmm.
I can sit here and say.
And by the way, the Phillies coach getting upset about the way the Braves celebrate home runs, saying you want our guys to act like they've been there before. Well, the way I kind of look at it is, how about you shut up? How about that?
You tell them.
It's like I agree with what he's saying, but I also like the Braves, so it's like, hey.
Nah, see, like I want more.
But they're leading the
No,
wild
how about-
card.
how about you-
Philly's leading the wild card.
Well, the way I see it
That's
is
true.
Philly been a lot of championships lately, and y'all can't win anything. So you have been there before. Maybe y'all should start celebrating a little bit more.
Well, I can't
Like,
argue.
I want like
with
a
that.
mariachi band to come down while I'm running to first base.
Go
smoke.
right,
Yeah,
yeah.
Come on,
why
this
is
one like
Creed
this?
walking out to play while I'm running?
Yes. Yes.
Looking at the pitcher.
Yes.
Like somehow you're just making carne asada at some point. Walking.
All right.
Carne asada.
Now to my other favorite team that doesn't have gay pride nights. Max Scherzer out for the regular season with a muscle strain.
Just Rangers is falling apart.
They are. They really
It's a
are.
Post Malone song.
How's that going to work out for
I
him?
wonder why that's happening.
Yeah. Man, when did that start?
We got to go back and look at the day.
The origin story?
Yeah. 30 for 30.
What if I told you?
This David.
What if David just absolutely Like in some crazy alternate universe, David like knew that the Rangers would play the Braves and beat them in the World Series.
Wow,
So he just went Owen Wilson.
long play.
He played the long
Hold on
play.
a second. They caught me.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
They're
Like he
on to
found
me.
the beeping chair.
So you notice the skyhook pops down.
All of a sudden, Gene Hackman
now.
shows up in a military outfit, like opens the door. David, get out! I'm getting my guy.
Cone's a master builder.
I'm gonna get my guy.
But Rangers 1 game back of Houston right now.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Could really use him.
Yeah.
Could really use him. He must really be hurt. Look, and I hope the Rangers figure it out. I really hope they do because they've been leading the division all year till the end here.
Yeah,
so
I know.
we'll
It's
see.
tough. It's tough losing a guy like Max. It really is.
Cat eyes. Keanu Reeves used to stare at him and be able to go down to hell or whatever and talk to that chick.
Mm-hmm. Are you talking about putting cats like a bucket and stuff? Yeah.
That's exactly right.
That's all I got, boys.
All right, let's get to the Booster Club real quick.
All right, let's go. Texas Ed said the Rangers are pulling their best Texas Tech and falling halfway through the second half.
Yeah.
Hey, I believe in both.
Come on, Joey McGuire. Big pickup with Micah Hudson, though. Big commitment.
All right, let's go. It says Heather Mama says only have 2 caffeine drinks in the AM. Try to get complete off of it, but loving me some Blackbeard's Delight.
Yeah, get that Blackbeard's
Blackbeard's Delight.
Hang out with Jack Sparrow.
Let's go to Doghouse Lawn Care. Good morning, folks. Go Dogs. Go Dogs, brother. So the weather's looking good up here, and I believe in my Georgia Bulldogs. What we feeling?
Look, I mean, I've got to see Carson, do it in a big game, but Georgia's, it's like a Ferrari. You just hop in, take care of it. And again, that's no joke. That's no pun or whatever. I just, when I watch Carson, he looks a little bit late to me with his decision-making. But again, he's an older guy. I think he's going to figure it out. I'm always going to side on err on the side of Georgia's really good.
I think that's a good side to err on. Let's go to Travis Elrod. He says, how bad does Dana Holgorsen need a win this weekend?
It needs one bad in the Big 12 after blowing it against Rice.
Yeah.
Cost me a 10-leg parlay. I will say, I do think they were looking ahead a little bit. That's why I don't think you'd be crazy to sprinkle some on Miami, Ohio, plus 14.5 this weekend at Cincinnati, who's got their first Big 12 game the next week. Going into a new conference, want to make a good impression, probably holding some back against a team that you consider, beneath you. It's just the truth. He needs one bad, just because all that goodwill he bought up by beating a good UTSA team week 1. You lost that when you lost at Rice because you didn't show up, got down 28-0, and then had to play catch up.
All right, let's go to the house that Cody built. We love that house. It says, doesn't the city of Philadelphia have more championships than the city of Atlanta this year?
When's the last one they won? When's the last one they won? I'll hang up and listen.
Nick Foles.
Huh?
Nick Foles.
Nick Foles. All right, there's one.
The Nick Foles year.
Okay, now I will say, I like the Eagles. I don't mind the fans of Philadelphia. I'm just talking about the head coach of the Phillies. You need to just watch your mouth when you're talking to me, okay? They threw snowballs at Santa Claus. That's fine. I got a hard time trusting him too. It's a B&E. Every December 24th, B&E. The only difference is he leaves you presents. It's a B&E.
Breaks in your house and just eats cookies and milk.
Yeah, you're going to break in my house, eat my desserts, and then leave me. You better leave me something. What do you mean?
And he does.
Outside of that,
don't mess with Santa Claus.
I'm not
Let's
trying to
don't
mess
go
with
out and
Santa Claus,
arrest
David.
Santa
I'm
Claus.
just saying.
You don't want on your legacy, you don't want on your tombstone the guy that ruined Christmas.
Yeah, I'm just saying, if you're like somebody from another country, you know anything about Christmas, and you came over here and you immigrated over here and you bought a house, December 24th, like you're hearing this term Christmas, oh, cool, it's winter and all that stuff. All of a sudden you hear something, walk in the living room, some grown man's in a red suit with a beard breaking into your house.
How are you coming to America and buying a house if you don't know who Santa Claus is? Like we got to take a
You'd be surprised.
citizen's test first.
You want to know how? You're allowed to walk across the border and you don't speak English?
Well, that's another problem.
Yeah.
Let's go to Joseph Lavelle with a $20 donation. Joseph, thank you, bud.
J-Lo.
Says Ohio State leads the Big Ten in passing yards and has their QB1. The defense will stop Notre Dame from scoring more than 25 points. Calling it here. Ohio State will beat Notre Dame 30-24, go undefeated, and then run cover 0.
Against Michigan? Yeah, that's hilarious.
I can't wait.
All right, Joseph Lavelle, 30-24, Ohio State.
Oh, I can't wait for
over
that game,
Notre Dame. Dude, I'm telling you, once
gonna
Ohio
be a
State
good
loses
one.
a couple games, I'll be hell on here. if Bama goes 9-3 and Ohio State goes 9-3, I may dress up as Batman and just walk in here one day and just sit down and start talking with the deep boys. All right, one more. We got to get to our NFL.
Let's go to Oakley Tyga with a $5 donation. Oakley, appreciate it, man. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Oakley, what up?
Ready to head to West Virginia and to watch my Pitt Panthers win the backyard brawl.
Okay, by the way, I caught a lot of help from Pitt fans when I picked them. God, don't have my little book of justice and truth.
You had them winning 3 games.
And I'm going 3-9. Lost to a bad Cincinnati team.
Yeah.
I tell you, going to a West Virginia team with a good offensive line. Jerkovich, I don't trust him. I told you I didn't trust him. Didn't trust him at Boston College. Pitt needs this one. It's a true pick 'em. When you look, it's like, I think West Virginia's +1. But I think it's like -105, -110, whatever. But the backyard brawl, I'm glad they're playing it again. Remember, it hadn't been played since 2011, and they played last year.
I forgot about that.
I like West Virginia in this game. Neil Brown, he has to have it. He has to have it. But again, look, I like Narduzzi too. I just don't believe in this Pitt team. And they give up explosive plays in the ground. All right? They like big runs, big time runs. I don't think they're super athletic on defense. That's why I think these big plays happen in West Virginia. Best part of their team, that offensive line. Don't be surprised. Mountaineers, they're going to be burning couches this weekend, fellas.
It's basically a pick 'em. Pitt -1. -115 on the money line. West Virginia -105. Over under 50.5.
I like West Virginia right now. I really do. All right. We're going to get back to the Booster Club. Remember, we have calls 1-855-236-3228. Let's get into our NFL roundtable rankings that involves the Booster Club.
Yeah.
Okay, so David, you want to explain how this
works? We're gonna pick our NFL Week 1 power rankings live on the show in roundtable fashion.
Yes.
Everybody gets a vote. No one person's to blame, but we're all to blame. And then the Booster Club, will they get the 10th pick?
The 10th pick. The Booster Club, you get to pick. It's the top 10. You get to pick the 10th team. So you got to listen to us and every team that we say. All right, that goes on there. That team gets eliminated, and you have to pick another team. Does that make sense? Right? We understand.
Right.
All right, let's do this.
All right, who's starting first?
David, you start.
Okay, number 1 position here. I'll go with the 49ers.
Gotcha.
What I saw, we already knew they had an elite roster, but my question was, is Brock Purdy really going to come in and play the type of football that's going to live up and elevate that already excellent roster? And in Week 1, he didn't disappoint. And you add on what he was able to do last year before the injury, I think the 49ers are the real deal, as good as it gets. So to me, you got to put them in the number 1 spot.
They looked as balanced as any team out there Week 1. You know, there will be overreactions. Teams will get better. Teams will get worse. But we know Brock Purdy being, like you said, being healthy to me.
Christian McCaffrey looked healthy. And the thing is with them, even if you lose one piece, you have all of these other weapons too.
That's exactly right. 2, I'm going Eagles. I'm going Eagles.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm still going to go with the Eagles here. You know, they're upset after the way last year ended. You know, the Chiefs obviously lost to the Lions, but Jalen Hurts last week, you know, wasn't fantastic. The Eagles didn't look super. I think they kind of got a little comfortable when they got up. But I think the Eagles' per capita offense, defense, special teams are the. By the way, speaking of special teams, didn't the Niners get Moody, the kicker from?
Yeah.
God, he looked good.
He is good, man.
God, he's
all
really
time.
good.
I think
give me the Eagles second. I don't think that's any surprise.
I agree with that. I agree with that. 3, I'm gonna go Chiefs.
Okay.
You're gonna stick with the Chiefs,
Yeah,
huh?
absolutely. Look, I know they lost Week 1, the first game against the Lions, but don't be fooled here. All right, they're without Travis Kelce. All right, I mean Jones wasn't there. I mean their best defensive player, one of their best players on the roster, and Kadarius Toney dropped 13 passes.
Yeah.
All right, so remember who's the quarterback of this team, right? Remember who's the reigning Super Bowl champ. I'm telling you. All right, don't get fooled by Lions are a good football team.
Mm-hmm.
They're a good football team, but a fully loaded, fully equipped Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce doing little dances in the end zone.
Hanging out with Taylor Swift.
Hanging out with Taylor Swift, allegedly. So, I mean, we'll
It's a
see.
love story.
The Chiefs are still in that upper echelon of rosters that are good enough to win the Super Bowl.
All right, so we got 49ers, Eagles, Chiefs at 4. Look, I'm going to go Cowboys. I'm talking about a team here that walked into MetLife Stadium in New Jersey and beat a divisional opponent 40-0.
Yeah.
Do I think Dak Prescott's going to walk into State Farm Stadium in Arizona in February and win the Super Bowl? I really don't. But you make a statement like that, opening week 40-0, I got to put you next on the list. So I'm going to go Cowboys.
Yeah, I don't trust Dak Prescott to walk into a State Farm office in Arizona and do anything good, let alone the Super Bowl. 5, I'm going to go Dolphins.
I love it.
I'm going to go Dolphins. Look, I know defensively, it wasn't beautiful, but the Chargers pretty damn good on offense too, with what they got, especially with a healthy Keenan Allen. But when I look at, Tyreek Hill's talking about he wants to be the first 2,000-yard wide receiver in NFL history. Pretty good start.
Yeah.
Pretty good start. Jalen Waddle. Tua, threw for 466. I know he didn't have the strongest arm in the world, but he doesn't have to and operate in that offense. His arm is strong enough to get it done. They look like a complete team to me, from tight end to wide receiver. Defensively, again, I know it wasn't beautiful, but I think they got the personnel in spots to get stops when they need to, and that offense is so electric. And I'm a big Coach McDaniel guy. I like Mike McDaniel a lot. So give me the Dolphins at 5.
I love that.
All right, for 6, I'm going to go Lions.
Okay.
That high.
Yeah,
Huh?
I'm going to go Lions here. And if you really look at this Lions team, it's hard
defensively is the biggest question.
It's hard to find weaknesses. Obviously the biggest question was secondary on the defense, and they look solid against the Chiefs. When I know Chiefs were missing Travis Kelce, but what are the Lions? They're extremely young and extremely talented on the offensive line. Jared Goff's playing the best football we've seen. Jared Goff play. You pick up David Montgomery, who had over 100 yards. Jahmyr Gibbs looks nice. The Sun God's out there playing. You got to remember who's not even on the field right now. That's Jameson Williams from Alabama, who's suspended for 6 games.
That's true.
Once he's back out there, the Lions can do some damage and do some sneaky damage, in my opinion, because they can run the football, and they're starting to become a team that can stop the run. Aiden Hutchinson looked phenomenal in week 1.
Great football
Was
player.
pressure all the time, was getting there, was always in the backfield, getting a hand on the quarterback. So I think you can put the Lions right now at the 6th spot.
All right. So for me, for 7, and this will be my last pick, so many different directions to go. I'm going to stick with the Chargers, though, despite that loss to the Dolphins. I do have a lot of question marks with Brandon Staley as the head coach. We've talked a lot about the game is moving more and more towards these offensive minds, even at the NFL level, leading these teams. How is that going to impact the Chargers' offensive style and game plan as they move forward throughout the season? But at least in week 1, I thought they looked more balanced than last year. I thought it wasn't just, hey, we have to rely on Austin Eckler every single play. Keenan Allen looked healthy. Justin Herbert obviously is coming into those prime years where you can really win a Super Bowl. And they were going toe-to-toe in a shootout with the Dolphins, So it's not a good look for me when Brandon Staley's a defensive-minded head coach and the defense gives up that many points. But maybe we can just chalk it up to this Dolphins team as that elite on offense, and I think the Chargers are still going to have a great season. So I'll go Chargers at 7.
Yeah, I'm going to go Jaguars at 8. I went back and forth on whether I should go Jaguars or Saints here. I do like the Derek Carr fit in New Orleans. But when I look at the Jaguars, you're going on the road in a Colts team that has nothing to lose. I know it was Anthony Richardson's first start, but you look at that division they're in, and I think Trevor Lawrence and ETN looked healthy. I feel like the weapons around him are good enough, and the Jags are old enough now to where they can really take that next step. I think from a balance standpoint, I mentioned that earlier, if Trevor can continue to make good decisions and know when to throw the ball away, especially in the red zone, right? That was a problem that he's had a while, trying to force everything in there, trying to always make the big play. Sometimes, you got to take a pitch or two. At the end of the day, I just love the relationship between him and Doug Peterson. Tank Bigsby scored his first touchdown last year. I know they had a couple turnovers. I think they'll clean that up. But for my last pick, give me the Jaguars.
Love that. Jaguars, big year this year. A lot of people are talking about it, especially me and Corey Sones. So for 9 here, I think I'm going to go with the Ravens.
Okay.
The Ravens.
I think I'm going to go with the Ravens. I know they didn't look great week 1. Mark Andrews was not out there.
Lamar looked rusty.
Trust me, he's on my fantasy team. Definitely felt that. But look at what they added. First of all, it's still the Ravens. They're not as talented as you usually think with the Ravens, with the Ray Lewis days. But you still have Patrick Queen. You have Roquan Smith that you got. So you still have good Ronald Darby. You still have good pieces there and good enough to win, in my opinion. But it's what you did on the offensive side of the ball what I'm excited about. All right. I know you paid Lamar Jackson all this money, so I hope we know he's not complacent. I don't think he will be. You had Odell Beckham, which is huge. You had Zay Flowers. Who I'm telling you is going to be a problem in the NFL. You can't touch him in the phone booth. You lose J.K. Dobbins week 1. It sucks, but I'll be really surprised. I don't think anybody is. But you do have pieces there. You have Gus. You have enough there to be okay. And just the way the Ravens play football, they ground and pound you up front and play solid defense. and Lamar is just one of the most athletic guys in the league. So 9 spot, I think I'm going Ravens.
Yeah, all right.
All right, so that's 49ers, Eagles, Chiefs, Cowboys, Dolphins, Lions, Chargers, Jaguars, Ravens. We need the Booster Club to pick the 10th team for us. We still got the Bills out there, the Bengals out there, Rams, Jets,
Saints.
even without Aaron Rodgers.
Browns.
Who are they going to go with over there? Browns out there still?
It's a mixed bag.
I mean, at the end of the day, I think it's between Bengals and Packers.
Oh, Packers
Packers,
too.
too.
The
Packers.
Do we think the Packers are that good, or do we think the Bears are that bad? That's what it comes down to.
I just don't. It's so the Bengals and the Browns. The Bengals do not play good against the Browns.
Well, and it
They
was
never
raining,
have. It's
and
wet. I
would go Bengals. I would go Bengals.
I would go Bengals as well. But the Bills are a serious conversation too.
I know.
I trust Joey B over
So what are they saying?
I mean,
they get a pick.
It's Packers.
Packers. Really?
It's Packers.
Wow. Booster Club's going Packers.
All right.
All right, we'll see.
Jordan Love, they believe.
They believe. They love the love. Spread the love. All right.
That's awesome.
I like that. I like
fun.
that we did that. That was
Yeah.
fun. All right. Let's before we get into our sneak peek college football this weekend, do want to tell you about our friends over at Genucel, so you don't have to sneak peek your face. You can feel good about it. As you might know, okay, our Booster Club sold out. Genucel's product, it's skincare for men and women. You can look at all the testimonials. They're fantastic. But if you have sunspots, brown spots, discoloration, or even red inflamed patches, they all disappear in front of your very eyes with Genucel. You don't want to go walk around looking like one of those twister mats, right? Just spots all over you, red, yellow, green. Again, Genucel, it is the absolute move. It's simple. Go to Genucel.com/booster and start looking years, even decades younger tomorrow. Like I said, say goodbye to dark and liver spots, bags and puffiness under the eyes, crow's feet. Who wants a bird landing on their face, right? That's at Genucel.com/booster. Genucel.com/booster. That's Genucel.com/booster. You don't want that puffiness, David.
That was a great reminder. I actually just got on Genucel.com because I ran out last night.
Nice.
So I'm about to reorder myself.
My wife loves it. I use it. But we've had friends that have ordered it that like the show and heard about it and ordered it, and now it's just part of their daily ritual. There's our power rankings up there. You can see it. The Booster Club there at number 10. We will drop that on social. I'm sure that there will be no controversy over that.
Oh, yeah. No one will have any.
That's 100% right.
It is 100% right. I don't
disagree with that.
Look at the Lions at 6. Let's go.
Come on, baby.
Detroit, baby.
Flip
in the
Michigan
house.
Mega Bowl. You love it.
Talking merger.
Yeah, merger. Prestige worldwide. Bye. All right, let's get a little college football sneak peek.
Ooh, college football.
1-855-236-3228.
Got to creep.
All right, college football sneak peek before we get to calls tonight. Memphis hosting Navy. Line -14 right now, Memphis. Do you like that, or do you think Navy's just going to chew up so much clock?
Well, I don't think Navy can score.
Yeah.
I mean, they looked inept against Notre Dame. Notre Dame has better players than you. I get it. You scored 24 against Wagner. You only scored 24? I think they're the only team since Central Connecticut to score under 30 points against Wagner. That's how bad Wagner is. So I know Navy's got a new coach, Newberry. They're working it out. He was the DC there for the last couple of years. Coach Ken's now over at UCLA. But Navy's just not a good football team. And Memphis, give Coach Silverfield some credit. I like Hannigan at quarterback. They're going to throw the ball around. I think Memphis covers in this game. I didn't pick. I did a parlay. I combined an alt spread on the side and the under, and I wrote the under wrong. It should be under 52.5, not under 46.5. That's actually the number that it is. If you were gonna take anything on the total, I like the under 46.5. I just don't think Navy can score. I think they're gonna get a couple first downs and have to punt a lot. Memphis will get up 17, 24, and then they'll kind of just ride off into the sunset. Navy's just not a good football team. I hate to say it, but this is what it is.
It's just, God, for some reason in this game, what's the line sitting at?
-14.
14.5, right?
I think it's 14 even.
14 flat. Ugh. Okay, the hook. See, this is where it gets dangerous.
Okay, so it went up to 14.5. It was 14 this morning.
I know Navy's bad. All right, I know Navy's bad. I know they only had 43 passing yards against.
Well, I'm not worried about Navy passing.
Yeah, I know. It's just hard for me to ever believe in a team who can't throw for at least 50 passing yards a game. This might be a back-end cover. It just feels like a back-end Navy cover.
Really?
It really does.
God, I feel like it's going to be murder she wrote.
Memphis only bringing 3 returners on defense back. I just think, just these games, this Navy, the time of possession matters so much. The Navy just holds the ball. They run the ball. So they do the whole game. So Memphis is going to have to capitalize on mostly all their drives to cover that 14.5. Like the hook playing now is different. You get it at 14.5, it's a little bit different. Again, 14 flat. I think this is a back-end cover by Navy, excuse me.
All right, Kansas State goes to Missouri this week.
Oh.
Both 2-0. Missouri survived last week. How you guys feeling about this one?
I mean, my gut tells me Kansas State's the better team because I know that sounds somewhat obvious, but I just keep going back to what that SEC assistant told me about Missouri's defense. Just how good they're one of the most underrated defenses in the country. Drink needs it really bad. You do have some game breakers, some guys like Luther Burden that can make big plays, not only on offense, but on special teams. Is this that game that gets Missouri over the hump? I went back and looked. I don't want to make my pick yet, but when we did our predictions early before the year, when I had overall record, I had Missouri winning this game. They've had this one circled. They've played 2, not unbelievable opponents before this. This is the big one. Kansas State scored, was able to end up putting it on Troy before halftime. That touchdown was huge. That put them up 2 scores last week, and Troy's got a good football team. I love the under in this game. Last time I checked, I think it was at 48.5, somewhere around there. I think this is going to be kind of a ground and pound. It's going to come down to Cook. Can Cook make good decisions with the ball? Can Cook be effective down the field passing? And they've got to find somebody outside of just Burden to be able to make some big plays. But I'm telling you right now, David, and this isn't an official pick yet, we're going to do that Saturday. My spotty senses are telling me Missouri.
Over-under is 48 even right now, -4.5 Kansas State. I like Kansas State to win the football game. I mean, I really like this Will Howard kid, and that's the most impressive thing of their run last year with Kansas State is the way Adrian Martinez was able to play at quarterback for them early, and then you have a quarterback change, and you don't miss a beat, and you end up winning the Big 12. So, look, I slept on Kansas State last year. I didn't make the same mistake this year. I think they go back to the conference championship game. I'm going to take Kansas State to go on the road and beat Missouri.
Well, I took Missouri, earlier this year when we were doing our predictions, so I'm going to stick with that. I think big key for this game for both teams, I think, to beat Kansas State, you have to get in the backfield, and you have to get in the backfield early, just to get them out of the rhythm of what they want to do, because they stick to their identity so much. They want to come out and run the ball. And Missouri has been one of the better teams in the SEC to stop the run. And Brady Cook, what Brady Cook's been doing on third down so far this year, is highly impressive. Missouri has looked extremely good on third down. Can their offensive line hold up enough through 4 quarters to stop this Kansas State pass rush? And what's their percentage on third down? Because I think they're going to be able to. Their secondary's not great at Kansas State. They're good, but not great, I would say. So I think Brady and Drink are going to be able to do a little work in the passing game. I think this game is going to be close. Missouri, last-second field goal.
To me, this game comes down to who is better off play action. Which offense is more effective off play action? I think that's what it comes down to, being able to run the ball.
Which team runs the ball better?
All right. Penn State goes on the road to Illinois. Penn State undefeated, Illinois 1-1 after that loss to Kansas. They did hang on to beat Toledo. Hasn't been pretty for Illinois early. Do you think Penn State goes on the road and gets a win against Illinois?
Yeah, it's a high number. It's a big number to be laying. I think it's at what, 15.5? Now it's down to 15. Maybe I saw it at 14.5 on some books yesterday.
14.5.
It's a good test for Drew Aller. This is a good test. Not that Illinois secondary, after what they lost last year, you can expect them, including their defensive coordinator, Ryan Walters, now the head coach of Purdue. I just don't think Illinois is a very good football team. I don't. I like Luke Altmaier at quarterback, but I don't think he's going to be enough. I think their offensive line isn't very good. Their defense, you look at some of the grades of the corners in some of these games. and you face a team like Penn State that has the weapons that they have, not only at running back but on the outside. The defense, I expect a little bit more from Penn State's defense. I think they're going to continue to get better. That was supposed to be really the strength of the team. But I think it's a nice test for Drew Aller. I think it's a big game for him going on the road. The thing I like about Drew Aller is he actually goes through his reads. I think Penn State makes a statement on the road against Illinois. This is just a good early season road conference game for Drew, for a young quarterback, one of the big rarities, big guy that can throw off platform and be effective. I like Penn State big in this one.
I do too, and that was one of my sharps. And that was when they were minus 11.5.
Oh.
And it's at where now?
It's at Illinois.
No, the spread.
Oh, 14.5.
14.5, that's good. Yeah, 3-point movement. You'd love that.
That big market value.
I mean, it might be a sneaky game. I don't know. I want to sit here and say Penn State's going to run away with it. But you kind of saw, look, their offense is humming, right? I mean, you're averaging almost 5 yards a carry on the ground. I mean, Aller, 4 touchdowns, no picks, 80% completion percentage.
Mm-hmm.
But if you watch that West Virginia game, and I watched mostly every snap of that West Virginia game, there were certain moments in that game, maybe a quarter and a half, where West Virginia was controlling the game up front on offense.
West Virginia's got a good offensive line.
Was stopping the run on defense, and was kind of having their way with a little bit of Penn State. If Illinois can turn this game grindy, right? Grindy, dirty, muddy, and run the ball, get some third downs, stop the run, some key turnovers, and not turn the ball over yourself, you'll have a chance.
Yeah, make him put the ball in harm's way.
And Luke Altmaier's got to run for Illinois. He's got to be effective running for them to have a chance to move the ball. But all right, let's get your phone calls. You ready?
All right, let's do it. We got Ryan in Florida. Ryan, what's going on today, man?
Rhino. Hello. Ryan.
Ryan, blink twice if you need us to come save you.
Yes.
Morgan Freeman?
Yeah, good morning. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I got you now.
Sorry, I had it muted.
Oh, you're good.
Hey, I know it's the middle of football season, and so I sure hate to interrupt y'all on this conversation, but
You're good.
we got an important cultural issue to address.
Yeah, what's up? What did Blaine do?
Yeah, well, sadly that may be the case, but so there are, with all due respect, to get off my lawn, and this ain't it, the greatest show segment of all time, it's mid. Hands down, the greatest segment of all time.
Yeah,
I agree.
That's not a mid-take.
Yeah, I don't understand how one man can be so right about so many things.
You really have to dive deep.
Wow, Blaine is never going to forget
I locked myself in a dark room for an hour.
When's it's mid coming back?
It's just like the Flaming Dragon Coffee Blue. It's in the works right now.
Oh, man. Well, the people
It's always
want
there.
it.
It's always
Ryan,
there.
do the people want its mid back?
Like deep down in your heart, Ryan, it's always there.
I think they do, but before he takes a victory lap, there's one small item. He said it's wrong one time.
Yes, what is it?
You can come after my house. You can come after my dogs. You can come after my state, my team. You don't come after my wife, and you don't come after my breakfast.
Yeah.
That is the issue we've got now.
Yeah.
I've really been in a turmoil since breakfast showed up on there as mid.
Thank you, Ryan.
Yeah, it's
to be honest with you, there's might have been a little bit movement on that opinion.
Oh wow!
So you're a liar.
Oh wow!
Because you're a liar.
Wow,
This is the same guy. The Office was on his It's Mid segment, and it was at the very top of his favorite shows of all time. I'm confused by the guy.
No, that was a people vote. People got one vote to put in the top 5.
That's a huge burden off my mind.
Hey, what's your go-to breakfast? What's your go-to breakfast? Like what is it, Ryan? Like, tell me what your go-to breakfast is.
I like to have eggs every morning of some sort.
How do you like those cooked?
Poached, boiled, fried, scrambled.
Okay.
This morning it was a croissant that my wife bought. She bought a big old pack of croissants from the deli or whatever.
French.
I took 2 pieces of bacon. We butchered our pigs a while back.
There you go.
Fried up the bacon, laid it in on a paper towel to soak up a little of the grease, fried an egg in that grease. As the egg was almost done, dropped 2 slices of cheddar cheese on top. I had the croissant in the toaster oven. I had the coffee brewing. And yeah, that thing went down.
I say we wrap this show up.
Yeah, we may be wrapping up early. God, that sounds good. Ryan, if you ever want to bring breakfast up here, I know you're in Florida, but if you're ever riding through, God, that sounds incredible.
Thanks for the call, man. Appreciate it.
I'm just out of Atmore, Alabama, so not too far from your old stomping ground.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been there.
Atmore.
There
the
plenty
casino, baby.
Yeah, I lost plenty of money there.
Yeah, I love you. I love you guys. You guys are great. Yeah, so I did want to mention I'm not one of these there are a lot of these squishes out here.
Yeah,
for sure.
They like breakfast food, but they don't like food in the morning. Or they'll say, I like to eat in the morning, but I don't like breakfast food. I like it all.
Yeah,
pancakes, waffles, French toast, bacon, eggs. Every single breakfast food is just the best kind of food.
There's been some movement.
There's
been some movement.
You all can always eat breakfast for dinner, but it's just weird to eat dinner for breakfast.
And supper.
True. And supper. There you go, Ryan. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you, buddy.
Appreciate it, Ryan.
Thank y'all.
Good call.
I love that.
Cleared up.
For sure.
Yeah, we're working on it.
Just needed to clear that up. Thank you.
Yeah.
We'll have breakfast together one day.
Filipino tilt-a-whirl workers is this nation's backbone.
All right, Kyle in Texas. Kyle, how you feel about breakfast, man?
Hey, good morning, guys. How are y'all doing? Man,
What's up, man?
What's up, Kyle?
Yeah,
I know. God, once he said cheddar cheese, like
stomach started growling.
I just disappeared for a second.
I'm there, guys. Hey, well, listen, I want to talk to you guys. About the most exciting football game this weekend. Obviously in Nebraska and Northern Illinois.
Yes.
I need something to hold on to because these last couple of weeks have been absolutely brutal.
Okay.
Nebraska leads the nation right now in one thing only, and that's turnovers.
Yeah.
So post Colorado game, Matt Rule is talking about how Jeff Sims, he's our QB1. And I think back to when I think you guys had Tim Brando on like a month ago, and he said that out of all the transfer quarterbacks, he said Jeff Sims was the worst. And I'm thinking, come on, how bad can he be? And now
may have squared that fastball up. All right.
Yeah, a little bit.
So you need to pick me up. You need to pick me up, Kyle. That's what you need. That's what you're saying. That's what you're telling me right now.
Hey man, let's get Coach Rule on the phone. Let's do it.
All right. All right.
But I wanted to ask you guys. So I know Sims, he's dealing with a bit of an ankle injury he took during the Colorado game, and kind of among Husker Nation right now, there's a lot of talk about, should Rule bench Sims until he gets his stuff together, or just kind of roll with our two other QBs right now, Heinrich Harburg and Chubba Purdy. And Rule's been pretty consistent on saying that Sims is the QB1, and I guess I'm just kind of confused on why. I mean, with all these turnovers,
you're
pretty apparent.
Good.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say that to me, like you're in a hard spot if you're Matt Rule, because I watched the other two guys play, and Jeff Sims is really bad. The other two guys aren't very good either, but it's hard to sit here and tell the players on your team, hey, if you're not playing well, we're going to put somebody in there if you're costing the team, and then you don't put somebody else in there when Jeff Sims is obviously costing the team. Now, does that mean that that player behind them is better than them, or they're going to come in and just fix everything? No, but you're in a hard place where you're having to battle between ability and credibility. And if it was me early in my tenure with these young guys that Nebraska has on their team, I would rather have my credibility and put a guy out there to try and turn the tide and maybe try and get some juice back, even though he may not be as talented, as opposed to sit here and say, all right, well, every position except quarterback, if you don't play well, we're going to put somebody else.
I agree, man. I watched every snap of that Colorado game, and it's just like the defense held on so good.
You've had two performances in a row where the defense had a great game plan going in, tackled well in space against two totally polar opposite teams.
Yep.
The way Minnesota operates and the way Colorado operates is on totally opposite ends of the spectrum, and the defense went in there and handled business both times, kept you in there, and that's why football is such a fickle mistress, and it's the greatest team sport of all time, is because half of your team can play really, really well, and the other half can absolutely blow it.
And it wasn't even half. It was one guy in crucial moments. That's why the Huskers game day had the best tweet. It was like, baby, it's 29-7, but I promise it feels way closer than that. Because it did. Right. It was evenly matched teams, but I don't know. I think it's going to be a long season.
Hey, I will say, though, if I'm Matt Rule, I am going to the top quarterbacks in the country like I know he is and saying, guess what?
Yeah.
You want to come to a big brand name place where you can start as a freshman? Come over to Nebraska because we can't even take a damn snap right now.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
All right,
yeah,
Kyle.
No, the defense and the special teams, we played winning football. It's just that offense, we got to get it figured out. And I think the next couple of weeks with kind of our last 2 out of conference games, I think that'll be the time to get it done.
Need some confidence. Confidence.
Appreciate it, Kyle.
Thanks, Kyle.
I need something to hold on to.
Hey,
guys.
I got you.
See you, buddy. All right, Kirk in Canada. Kirk, what's up, man?
Kirky.
Hey, boys.
What is?
Hey, bud.
Oh, it is.
Alive and well.
Sprouting branches as we talk.
I wanted to just 2 things to remind you about that 12.5 gift pack that you guys are going to be sending me in April.
Mm-hmm.
And,
look, I'm hearing good things about the Flyers.
You need to change the channel.
I'm hearing everybody can skate good.
I did want to chat about that Aaron Rodgers injury, especially since I've blown out 2 Achilles. Blaine's blown out an Achilles.
Oh, you blown out 2?
I got this theory that, well, if I remember correctly, the tendon is actually not a single tendon. It's like thousands of spaghetti-like tendons, and they're kind of woven together by our awesome creator. And so I think by his reaction and by the angle of his foot, I don't think he's ruptured it. Like, I don't think it's in 2 pieces. I think it's still, but definitely it's been torn to some degree or another. Yeah, because you know what? When Vince Wilfork, who's maybe the toughest nose tackle in the history.
Oh, God, I love me some Vince Wilfork. Overalls, Vince?
He was almost in tears with the pain. Like, he completely ruptured his, and he was out for a year. And
Kirk, if you're going to call Blaine soft, just come out and say it.
No, I don't think that Aaron is superhuman, but it's possible. I mean, his reaction tells me it's not completely severed, and he'll be back. Maybe
that's
not
exactly what I said on the show, Kirk. Because mine actually ended up being ruptured. Yeah, especially they basically said like a small IED blew up in your heel.
That's what they told him. That's what the doctor told him.
That's those exact words. They said it's like somebody smuggled a grenade into the back of your foot.
Yeah. Is yours like in 2 pieces, Blaine? Did they have to sew it back together?
No, it's basically like somehow Willy Wonka got a hold of my Achilles and stretched it and broke it. And
Achilles.
He's got an everlasting gobstopper in his foot.
It's gone. Like this, they had to fly in a new one and put it in.
They had to take one from an elk.
Basically, Deadpool me, strapped me to a table for 6 months just to see what would happen.
Like, Aaron Rodgers didn't appear to be in excruciating pain.
No.
I mean,
I think Aaron Rodgers has sold his body to a witch, so he doesn't feel pain.
That is true, actually.
I mean, so he doesn't feel pain.
Well, and that adrenaline's pumping. Blaine's adrenaline wasn't, there wasn't a bunch of people at his flag.
I was on the field for an hour before anyone came at me. At one point, I was sitting on the chair telling our team
Blaine called me and sounded like one of the people from the Blair Witch Project. He was like, hey, help me. Help.
I believe it.
Like a horse that just broke a foot.
Yeah, but see ya.
I was just hobbling away and watching him come at me with a 12 gauge.
Yeah, he said. What'd you say?
I think Aaron will be back next season.
I hope so, man.
You think I'll be back next season, Kurt?
No, you're done.
Any real football? Little flag?
You're done.
Little flag? Come back season?
It's a long process. It's a long process, but you'll get there.
Instead of hard knocks, it's hard talks.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, Kirk.
Hard talks and new socks.
I hook, Kirk.
See you, buddy.
Thanks,
All
buddy.
Right, keep killing it, boys. Thanks.
Hey, appreciate it.
All right, let's go to Caleb in Kentucky. Caleb, what's up?
Hey, how you guys doing this morning?
Caleb, what's up, buddy?
Hey, so quick question. These 2 teams are not my college teams. I'm a Tennessee fan, and we've got an interesting game coming up with Florida, but just wanted to know, does South Carolina present any sort of challenge to Georgia this weekend?
No.
Okay.
For one, in my opinion, and listen, I'll preface this by saying I do not hate South Carolina. I love Shane Beamer. All we've done is I think the future of South Carolina is in really good hands. I just think the present, their offensive line is very bad. Not just bad, but very bad. And when you go up against what I know Georgia's, they just reload, they don't rebuild. I don't see a way in which South Carolina, even if they go in there and throw it 50 times, can protect Spencer Rattler or run the ball enough to protect him on play action. I don't think Georgia has an elite offense. I know they got some guys that are beat up with Ladd McConkey. I love the under in this game. I got it at 55.5 on the sharp. It's down to 54.5 last time I checked. Unless those guys go in there and play out of their minds or Georgia plays terrible, I do not see it. I've seen people compare this game to Tennessee and Florida, which is a joke. That's laughable at best.
That is funny.
Like, I don't think South Carolina scores more than 13 points in this game.
They'd have a lot better chance for something weird to happen if it were at home.
Yeah.
But you're going between the hedges.
I just don't see it.
Even if Spencer Rattler were to freak
fair.
out somehow. Yeah, it's 27.5 right now.
Oh,
Like,
that's a
9 sacks. You gave up 9.
To North Carolina.
9 sacks. Like, I believe in more than what the Mexican Congress, those two aliens showed. I believe more in South Carolina beating Georgia. It's not going to be close. I'm worried about Spencer's health. At the end of the game, he's going to be killed for 4 quarters. Like 4 quarters. Like, they're not going to tell us the aliens are real today, but they're going to tell us Saturday when Georgia has 11 sacks against y'all in one game.
Caleb, what do you think?
You get I'm going to say 9 sacks against North Carolina. You have 20 against Georgia.
I know.
Yeah, well, what's your answer to that? Your answer to that, and I went on our buddy Chris Phillips, the Spurs Up show. You have to have quick game. You got to try and supplement the run game with quick game. And Georgia is so athletic on the outside and tackles so well in space. If you're one-dimensional, you're no-dimensional. Mm-hmm. You're just not. You can try and move the pocket. Yeah. You can run sprint out.
Max Pro.
But you're not going to be able to trick. Well, then you take 2 people out of a route. So
I mean,
like, again, if you cannot trick people all the way through, especially Georgia, when defense is Glenn Schumann and Kirby Smart's absolute bag.
You need Carson Beck to blow it.
Yeah, you have to have Carson Beck blow it.
has to blow it.
Georgia has to blow it. That's the truth. You know the most important person for Georgia on Saturday, who it is? The bus driver. That's who. Just get him to the game.
Appreciate it, Caleb.
Great call.
Thanks, Caleb. Call in again, man. Appreciate it.
Hey, call
good
in
luck
next
this
week. Yeah, call in next week. We'll talk about Florida, Tennessee, all right?
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, let's go to TJ in Texas. TJ, what's up?
TJ.
How you guys doing?
Doing good, man. How you doing?
Doing all right, but this is towards Jake. So I really appreciate the hype and love you are giving Texas Tech football.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really going to have to ask you to stop doing that. You're giving us way too much hope that we're used to having. Okay, so we're more of an underdog mentality team and love stealing games, but you're trying to make us think that we have a real shot here. So,
well, I think you do. I think you still do. I really believe that. Now, listen, I can reverse talk this if you want me to do that.
Sometimes you have to do that,
and say, read me the rest of Texas Tech schedule. Because let me pull it up real quick. So the Wyoming game, and look, Joey McGuire's a guy I got a ton of respect for.
Right.
I feel like you guys rested on your laurels. That Oregon game, I mean, you're up 9, man. You're up 9. And you've got to find a way to finish these games, right? I mean, Tyler Shuck, right. I don't think he's a bad player. I don't think he's a bad player at all. Got to find a way to finish the games. I thought that 4th and 2 call was awful, but that game didn't come down to 1 call. Let's go through Texas Tech schedule.
All right, you got Tarleton State this week.
Win.
Then you go to West Virginia.
Win.
Houston at home.
Win.
You're to Baylor.
Win.
Woo. Kansas State at home.
Loss.
To BYU.
Win.
TCU at home.
Win.
At Kansas.
Win.
UCF at home.
Win. I'm telling you.
Texas
I still
Tech.
believe.
At Texas. Excuse me.
Loss.
Yeah, lose that game.
God, does that get you in the Big 12 championship? Does 2 losses get you in the Big 12? Depends on what
You're going to be up there. I mean,
listen, I still believe in Texas Tech. Look, have they let me down the first 2 weeks? I mean, yeah. But that Oregon, I mean, look, Oregon's top 5 team in the country.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's and look, I know it was at home, but if anybody can ride those guys, it's Joey McGuire. But I know you want that underdog mindset, right? You want that underdog, us against the world. All right, Tarleton State. look, they're basically the Dallas Carter of FCS, their division, whatever, which I think Tarleton's moving up. I believe they are, unless I'm wrong there. But no, I get it, TJ. I get it. But, I mean, at the end of the day, like, you're trying to go from the duplex to the suburbs, right?
Right. You got to break through that mentality. But I'd rather lose every single game right now and just beat Texas at home for the last time.
And just ruin their season?
God, I know that.
And just ruin their
I just
season?
know exactly how that feels. 100%. As an Auburn fan, I know exactly how.
Yeah, no, we can, like, we're mind-mouthing, TJ. We're with you 100%. Like, I get it. But listen, I don't think all's lost, my friend. I don't think all's lost. And, again, at some point, got to break that glass ceiling, my friend.
Thanks, TJ.
I really want to. All right. Thank y'all.
Hey, call in again,
Appreciate
TJ.
it, T.
When Texas Tech starts rolling, TJ, all right, when Texas Tech starts rolling, you got to call in. All right, you got to call in and show us some love.
Guns up.
Guns up.
Jacob in California. Jacob, what's up, man?
Hey, good morning, Corinne and Co. How you guys doing?
Jacob, what's up, buddy?
Doing pretty good. Hey, got a question for you, Jake. You had a take yesterday with Sanders and Colorado saying that it's a place that you can build a national power.
I think you can.
Question for you and kind of everybody. Is there a spot that you can't build a national power? It feels like everywhere's kind of had a circle and a cycle that kind of has risen up, whether that ceiling might be different for everybody. But as an Arizona State fan, I wasn't around when the Frank Kush years were and we won a Rose Bowl, beating Nebraska, all that good stuff. But are there areas in the country that can't become that national power?
First off, Jacob, that's a great question. I do, and I'm going to keep this in Power 5, right? I'm going to keep this in Power 5. Yes, I do. I think at a lot of the heavier academic institutions like Northwestern, I think it's tough. That's what makes what Mike Elko is doing at Duke right now so impressive. I just think when you have standards that it's hard to get, because let's be honest, every football player is not a Rhodes Scholar. Because it does come down to talent. If you want to build a national power that's able to start a dynasty, that's kind of where I'm going with this. But no, there's a lot of places you can. There's some that it's easier than others, right? That's what we call golden egg schools. But I think Colorado is one of those places that I know the academic standard's not easy to get in there, but I do think you can get enough players in there, and we've seen them have success before, and I think Deion could actually get them, as crazy as it sounds, to lower the academic standards to get guys in there. I really believe it with the way it's rolling right now. But I think there's more places than not, and I think it's from all across the country. I think you can build one at Washington. I think you can build one, obviously, at Florida. I think you can build one, at North Carolina. I think you can build one at Texas Tech. That's what I think makes it beautiful. But there are levels to it, right? And if we're talking about an absolute powerhouse, what we've seen at Bama, what we're seeing at Georgia, what we saw at Florida in the past, I think there's less of those, but there are multiple spots where you can do it. So I'm going to say there's not every place because of the academic schools. And then obviously you have places like North Dakota and South Dakota where like the weather's so just wild. But no, that's a fantastic question. Jacob, is there any in your mind?
Oh, well, Jacob, this is why I was saying I think Deion Sanders will leave Colorado eventually, because I'm just doing the math over here, which was my worst subject in school, so take it with a grain of salt. But I'm doing the math here when it comes down to this revenue that's coming in. I mean, the Big Ten, each Big Ten school is going to get $80 million a year, something like that. The SEC schools are going to get $70 million plus. So when we say, like, Deion Sanders is going to bring a lot of money into Colorado, yes, but, like, USC has a lot of money, and they haven't been winning national championships, right? Notre Dame has a lot of money. They haven't been winning national championships. I mean, and then the other math on that is the SEC has won 13 of the last 17 national championships, something like that, something in that range. I just think that the more success that Deion Sanders has at Colorado, the more big-time jobs he's going to get offered in recruiting beds and in conferences where the TV money is exponentially higher. I mean, Colorado's in a better place next year when they join the Big 12 at like $31 million per year on TV revenue than they are by staying in the Pac-12 that's now defunct. But still, you're just going to have teams like Florida State and Clemson looking around saying, man, we're getting blown out of the water on the revenue deal.
And that scares the hell out of the ACC too. But Jacob, that's a fantastic question. Nobody's ever asked me that question before.
Well, it just totally understand and get the idea that, man, it's always cyclical. There's always something that you get a guy that is pumping up a program and you could have somewhere like a TCU come to, and it just you get the right mixture, you get the right set of guys, the right leader, and maybe it gets them just maybe a little over that hump. But again, it's always feeling, it's always kind of at what is that level for that program.
Yeah.
And as I
like,
said,
what is that benchmark you have to hit?
In the desert for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, I think it obviously comes down to resources, right? If we're talking about growth potential, resources, which encompasses a lot. How much do people love, like how, big is the fan base? How much do people love football out there? I think there are benchmarks, but I think there's a lot of places that could hit it, including Arizona State.
Appreciate it, Jacob.
Jacob, thanks, buddy. Great call.
Jacob.
Great
Thanks,
call.
man.
Call in again. That was a great call.
All right, everyone else on the line, call in tomorrow.
Yep, got live calls every day. All right, I'm headed over the board.
Forgiveness and trust.
Forgive me for forgiving you. Forgive everyone. Our Booster Club bets.
Some of those glasses, you keep putting those things on every time you go over there.
I love them
Yeah.
because they're over here. Well, like good things have happened since I started doing it.
The glasses?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
We've been hot.
Respect it.
Our Booster Club bets are brought to you by DraftKings. Life's more fun when you're in on the action. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Use code BOOSTER because new customers can score $200 in bonus bets instantly when they bet just $5 on any NFL game, only on DraftKings Sportsbook with our code BOOSTER. The crown is yours. Oh, yeah, you know what time it is. All right, here's what we got. Betting football tonight. Woo! Pretty excited. Astros came through for the kid last night. The Diamondbacks. I mean, I'm not going to say you're wrong.
I'm not wrong.
You're not wrong.
They cheated.
Eagles. Over 27.5 points. That's the TTP.
Yeah.
Oh, you know me. Over 27.5. That's at -110. Come on, Jalen.
There's something about TTPs that are just fun to bet.
They are fun to bet. Well, it's especially over.
It's just a cozy bet.
Yeah, I need it. Well, I need the Vikings defense to just go find a pineapple for their birthday, and there's a cow on the road. So now I forgot.
It's a very situation.
Yeah, and I need to change this. I'm going Memphis minus little parlay here. Memphis -6.5, and the under 52.5. That's +105.
All right, I'm going to take Memphis -14. Seth Hennigan, let's throw the ball around the yard, all right?
David, I'm sorry. Blaine, why are you looking at me like that?
Just my face, dude. Just my face.
I don't like when you
David,
look at me like
I'm
that.
sorry for him, but please.
Don't make triangle face at me.
Did he interrupt my bet?
No,
Did
David,
I
I'm
interrupt
sorry.
his bets?
No, David, no. I interrupted you because Blaine interrupted me.
Didn't say a word, but please, David.
Well, now I'm going to interrupt.
You have to
Interrupt. Pardon the
I'm just gonna
interruption.
silent retreat.
No.
Memphis -14 at home against Navy. Look, -110. Seth Hennigan, let's throw the ball around the yard. And then Eagles, Vikings over 49.
David,
I
I
love
almost
it.
took that.
-110.
All right.
That.
All right, little football, baby. Hey, baseball. I like what you're doing for me lately. Let's keep that up. Let's stay on the.
You hate betting baseball.
But I know, but it's working. So, like, at what point do I quit hating it?
That's up to you and God.
I'm working on it. Thanks. Philly, -3.5. Bought it down a little bit. It's gone off at -160. I don't think this is going to be a field goal game. I think Philly's going to at least win this game by 4. Just better team, better roster. Kirk will put up some good numbers. Justin Jefferson will be Justin Jefferson. But the Eagles roster is too good. One of my favorite bets to bet, baby, and it's always fun to bet in the NFL. That is the first touchdown scored of the game. I'm going with Jalen Hurts, +550. Holding call or pass interference.
Down to
in
1.
the end zone. Down to 1. You know what the Eagles love to do at the 1, baby? Little QB sneak.
Yeah,
all you Jalen Hurts fantasy owners out there, hey, we're starting early today.
All right.
Starting early today.
Ace Cone. Nice
Ace
night
man.
for him last night. Hit the Rangers bet plus money. He's going to go Vikings +6.5. He's on the other side, boys. He's on the other side. And he's going to go A.J. Brown anytime touchdown. That's at plus money at +100. A.J., a.k.a. guess what? I just scored again. I'm a monster. So those are the bets for today. Make sure you use promo code BOOSTER at DraftKings. Donos, Mike.
Go to Charles Dossett with the $5 donation.
C-Doss.
Charles, thank you. Says Jake.
Oh, no.
I bet Colorado goes to Oregon and wins. Are you willing to back your doubts with your pride?
Yes. How much do you want to bet?
What he's bet what?
That Oregon beats Colorado.
I want in.
What's the spread on that?
Yeah,
14.5. Can I get in on that?
God, it's 14.5. That feels like it's so much.
There's a reason for that.
Let's go to Kevin T. What's up, Kevin? With the Aaron Rodgers injury, can we now have a serious conversation about artificial turf? If Lambeau Field can have natural grass, all other stadiums can too.
Look, I think I get why people have turf. I understand, right? I know that why they went to it. But if you can have natural grass, have natural grass. That's what I think.
I always liked turf.
I love playing on turf.
I wasn't a running back or an O-line. You like playing on turf?
I love, as a receiver, it's so much better to play on turf.
Well, turf's built for offensive guys. It's built for offenses.
Is it? Running backs hate it most.
It is. Nah, God.
I don't know. I loved it. I just felt like I can
too.
always be able to, get off the line quicker.
It's
I
consistent.
can cut quicker.
Yeah.
I can stick my foot in the ground quicker.
If no more donuts, let's do the poll.
All right. Poll. Who covers tonight? Eagles -6.5 or Vikings +6.5?
Eagles 58%.
That's probably what they said, but I'm going to take the Vikings, man. Vikings covering +6.5.
Eagles -6.5, 66%.
Yeah,
Vikings +6.5, 34.
Well, I saw where the public was on the Eagles and the Sharps on the Vikings. So got an old school battle. Sith.
A tug of war action
versus the rebellion. All right, make sure you subscribe. Appreciate you guys. I got a great show for you tomorrow. Call-in's fantastic. Everybody that called in, if you weren't able to get on the line, make sure you call in tomorrow. We'll get you get you moved to the front of the line. You guys are the best audience out there, and enjoy your football watching tonight. Congratulations, Atlanta Braves, on another division title. Man, it just feels great. And like the chances of anybody else in the NL East winning the division in 2023, we're going. Gone.